Well, a pretty sudden move in the AI world recently.
Yeah, involving Anthropic, one of the big AI model providers, and a platform called Windsurf that uses their tech.
Exactly. So picture this.
Hmm.
Your Windsurf, you've built your platform. It relies heavily on Anthropic's Claude 3 models,
Popular ones, yeah.
right? Really popular. And then almost out of nowhere, with less than 5 days notice,
Which is incredibly short.
Anthropic just cuts off nearly all your access to those models.
Yeah, a huge disruption. And this whole thing, it really shines a light on, the sometimes tricky relationship between the big AI labs making the
The
models
foundation model providers.
and the companies building products, sometimes called wrappers, on top of them. It can be, well, volatile.
Absolutely. So Windsurf stated their direct access, what they call first-party capacity for Claude 3.x, it was almost entirely gone.
Just like that.
And that super short notice meant they were scrambling, facing issues, getting those models to their users, trying to plug in alternatives quickly. They think they've got short-term capacity sorted now, but still.
And Windsurf, they were pretty clear about how they felt. Their CEO apparently expressed disappointment, really stressed how short that notice period was.
And importantly, said they were totally ready to keep paying.
Exactly. Ready and willing to pay the full price. So, based on what Windsurf put out there, this wasn't a payment dispute.
Okay, so if Windsurf says payment wasn't the issue, then what could be driving Anthropic's decision? This is where it gets pretty interesting when you dig into the source material.
Well, one thing I often pointed out is just how profitable some of Anthropic's, let's say, more specialized Claude models have become.
Oh, like the code in the Max versions?
Precisely. The source mentioned sales for those specific models apparently jumped massively, like from $2 billion to $3 billion in 1 month.
Wow, okay, so these aren't just background tech anymore. They're major revenue streams.
Right. Highly valuable products on their own.
So could Anthropic be thinking, okay, we want to control how these super profitable models are delivered? Maybe not through third parties like Windsurf.
That's definitely one interpretation suggested. Maybe they want to offer them directly or through, specific enterprise deals or even their own products down the line.
Prioritize channels where they capture more value, maybe?
Could be. If the real money is in these high-end models, maybe being just a general API provider becomes less attractive for those specific capabilities.
Okay, that makes sense. But then there's this other piece mentioned. Bit of a rumor, actually.
Ah, yes, the potential acquisition story.
Right, the idea floating around that Windsurf might be selling,
Yeah.
possibly to a competitor, like OpenAI.
Yeah, and if that's true, or even perceived to be true, you can see why Anthropic might strategically want to limit a rival's future access to their best models.
Even if Windsurf is currently a paying customer, it shows how M&A, mergers and acquisitions in this wrapper space can suddenly change the dynamics with the model providers.
Definitely a strategic angle to consider. It adds another layer to it.
Although Windsurf did make a point of saying other models they use weren't affected.
Right. They mentioned things like Gemini 2.5 Pro, apparently quite good quality, and there's a new promo price too, and GPT 4.1. Those seem fine.
And they stress they want to keep working with everyone. They want access to all the good models.
Which makes sense for their platform. But this whole episode, according to the source, is kind of a wake-up call for other similar companies.
Oh, they're wrappers. Like
Mhm.
Cursor was mentioned as another example.
Exactly. The suggestion is this could signal a broader shift from the big AI labs.
A shift beyond just making the core models.
Yeah, a shift towards maybe building and pushing their own end-user products that compete directly with companies like Windsurf or Cursor. Think like advanced AI coding assistants built by the model makers themselves.
Ah, okay. So the provider becomes a competitor.
Potentially, yeah. And if that happens, their willingness to supply the underlying models to third-party platforms could change quite dramatically, right? Regardless of how good that platform is or if they pay on time.
So pulling it all together, Anthropic cuts off a key customer abruptly. Potential reasons include the high value of specific models, maybe wanting more control.
Possible competitive maneuvering related to M&A rumors.
And maybe this broader trend of foundation model providers stepping into the application layer themselves.
It really paints a picture of a fast-moving, sometimes precarious situation for companies building on top of these core AI technologies. You're kind of subject to the strategic whims of your suppliers.
Absolutely. So it leaves us with a big question, really something for you listening to think about. What does this tension where the AI creators might also become direct competitors mean for the future? How might these relationships evolve? And what does it mean for the choice and availability of AI tools for all of us?